Hey guys, it's Kyle Summerford here for Dental Office Managers Community, and today we have Tia.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm doing good, Tia.
Great.
I'm glad to have you on.
I'm glad to be here. It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy I'm your last person today because you saved the best for last.
Well, I was trying to get you on. You're busy. You're all over the place, and that's. I'm glad that we connected here.
I am too.
Yeah. So
good stuff.
Tia, let's share with our audience just a little bit of information on your background.
Okay. Well, in dentistry for 42 years, originally a dental assistant for many, many, many years. And then the last 12 years of my career, I was an office manager and dental assistant. So I was doing double duty there.
Wow.
And now I spend my time, coaching, training, speaking. I'm the author of a motivational book on dental assistants called Rockstar Dental Assistant. And I am the creator of the Dental Compliance Calendar, which is a calendar to help dental offices with not just OSHA, HIPAA, infection control, but it's for maintenance. The calendar walks you through all of it. So, we have so many new dental assistants in our world they're trained on the job. There's nothing wrong with being trained on the job, but you're only as good as the person who trained you, right?
Right.
So sometimes we're busy. We don't have time, or possibly I've met offices where that new dental assistant is the only dental assistant there. And so I created the calendar out of a necessity to help walk through people of what needs to be done daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually in a dental office for all of those subjects: OSHA, infection control, HIPAA, and maintenance. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah. So you sent me one of those calendars.
Yeah.
And the staff loves it.
Awesome.
They love
Good.
it. I mean, it's so funny because I brought in the calendar, okay, and I said, "Look at this cool calendar I got." No one paid attention to it. I took it, I put it up on the wall, and I said, "Look, guys, here's the calendar." No one paid attention to it. All of a sudden, like a week later, I see everyone surrounding the calendar. They started looking, and I didn't even have to really tell them exactly what the calendar was about. And now I actually see them teaming up, the dental assistants, and they're looking at the calendar, and they're actually like circling things, checking them off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like a living logbook. It's like when you take a handpiece out of service because it has to have the turbine changed. And then when you put it back into service, you want to write the serial number down for that handpiece, because guess what? A month from now, another handpiece is going to go out. Is it that same handpiece? I don't know. But now you can see the serial number. So it acts as a living logbook that you can keep, punch 3 holes in it, put it in your OSHA book at the end of the year, and you've always got that.
It shows you're compliant.
Exactly. And it sparks conversation. The new dental assistant is like, what is a plaster trap? I don't know. I will tell you, I went to school to be a dental assistant, 10-month program. And the very first dental office I worked in, Buzz and I walked in one Monday, and something did not smell good. It was pretty bad. And we're walking around going, where is that smell coming from? Like, did you leave food out? What happened? And he kind of looked at me and he goes, have you emptied the plaster trap lately? And I was like, what's a plaster trap? Like, I had no idea. And for anybody that knows, have you ever smelled a plaster trap?
Yeah.
They are gross. Yeah. And I had no idea. So it sparks conversation like that, like, what do you mean empty the plaster trap? What is a plaster trap? What do you mean change my O-rings? What are you talking about? So it sparks conversation for that newbie, and even for the veteran who kind of forgets. We get complacent. Who gets complacent and doesn't, keep up with what they're supposed to do. Oh yeah, I got to do that. That's right. I'm so glad they reminded me.
Yeah.
So
It's a great training tool.
Yeah.
And we have in our office, so we do have two new dental assistants actually. One who had 0 dental experience at all, and the other one came from a practice that was working part-time. And so we do have a lead dental assistant, and she's really been kind of helping out. And, like I said, they're just kind of going through that calendar and knocking things off.
I love hearing this.
Yeah. So Tia, what in terms of like HIPAA training, that's a big topic that is discussed in the Facebook group. Okay, and there's always questions.
There's
Who can we use for HIPAA training?
Me.
And Tia's the answer. So as you guys probably seen, we tag Tia. But what are some of the, I guess, challenges when it comes to HIPAA training and dental offices?
Well, first of all, for OSHA and HIPAA, you're supposed to have all new team members trained within 10 days of employment. So that is something to keep in mind. To be compliant, you have to have that yearly annual training for everybody. But within 10 days of employment, you have to train your newbie on OSHA and HIPAA. And so, I help teams do that. I think the biggest challenge is there's so much misinformation out there. I mean, it's nuts. They're like, well, we've been doing this. Well, just because you do that doesn't mean that that's the way you're supposed to do it. For instance, a lot of people I see refer, oh, we take this online course. Well, I will tell you right now, OSHA and HIPAA frown upon an online generic course that, you don't have a person, an expert to ask questions to. You're supposed to be able to ask questions specific to your practice and get answers for that. If you say you're taking, OSHA comes in, HIPAA comes in, and they go, well, you took an online course, like, how was it, show me what this course is. They're going to throw it out and say that's not a good course.
Wow.
And so when you're choosing a trainer for this, make sure there's three things. Make sure, number one, that you are getting something. Actually, there's four things. You're getting something specific to your practice, not some generic training. Make sure the trainer knows what the heck they're talking about too, because there's too many charlatans out there. As far as what those people are going to ask for, they're going to ask to see your training records. Very important. They want to see training records. And they want to see consistent training records. So like, this is June. Every June, do your OSHA and HIPAA training. But do it every June. Don't do it June of this year and December of next year. They like consistency in those training records. Another thing they're always going to ask for, OSHA is always going to ask for, is those Hep B shots,
yes.
those vaccinations for your clinical team. And they're also going to ask to see those sport test reports for the last 3 years. So those are really the training records, the sport test, and the consecutive training records, sport test, and the Hep B vaccines. Those are the three major things that they're going to look for. HIPAA is going to look for also those consecutive training records and that you have all your paperwork. Both of those entities, it cracks me up because people will go buy a HIPAA book from Shine or Benco or Patterson.
I've seen one of those.
Yeah. They'll buy the HIPAA book, they'll buy the OSHA book, and then they never open it. It's like it's got like the cellophane still on it when I get there.
I was gonna say I've seen that actually with the wrapper still like torn, but it wasn't torn because it was open. It was just torn because the book was there for many years.
Right.
Yeah.
And they never open it. And inside that OSHA book and that HIPAA book, it's supposed to be customized to your practice, and people never open it. I do help people with manuals. I have my own manual that I sell, but I do help them with manuals or refer them out to someone who can help them. But it's important that you go through that. And like your practice, your employee manual, your employees need to know what you expect of them through OSHA, through HIPAA, and so those manuals need to be filled out. So that's a huge mistake I see, that people aren't taking those seriously.
So what are the, say, implications of a practice that doesn't have training, and they get a knock on the door like, hello,
Well, let me tell you, people gripe about the cost of training. People say, oh, well, we got somebody to do it for $50. Well, my training is 3 hours long. So if it's less than 3 hours, you may have a problem. And sometimes I can't even answer questions in that 3 hours. It goes a little longer. But the cost of noncompliance is huge. It's fines for both OSHA and HIPAA.
Wow.
There's a lot of fines, and OSHA fines the practice owner, but HIPAA fines the person who created the breach.
Really?
So if that's you, Kyle, in your practice, you're the one paying the fine, not necessarily your practice owner.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't have that money.
right, exactly. And
I don't have it.
And when they're finding these people, the fines are huge because they're making a point.
Yeah.
They want to send a message, Cal.
Yeah.
They want to get you, and they want to stick it to you
Mm.
so they can send a message that they're not tolerating this type of thing. So I think that people really need my messages. Don't take OSHA and HIPAA lightly. Like, truly, get trained and find out what you need to do it, because the fines are no joke. And
Yeah.
let's not even talk about possibly shutting down your practice.
Yeah, that's tragic.
It is
It's
tragic.
tragic. I
Yeah.
could never imagine having to close our office,
Well, and think about it, Kyle. If you had to close your office, let's say you got a slap for 30 days. Team members, Americans on average are on 3 weeks to bankruptcy. But
Yeah.
if we had to go 3 weeks without a paycheck, we would probably be bankrupt.
No.
I mean, we saw that at the beginning of COVID. Everybody freaked out for that reason, right?
Yeah.
So, could you, as a team member, go, a month, 30 days without work because your boss can't afford to pay you because they're not making any money? So
Yeah.
it's something that affects the entire team, not
Yeah.
just the practice owner.
Yeah. Life without pay.
Yeah, that would suck.
That would suck. Yeah. You got my head here spinning. Just like, how would that work? Yeah. No, it'd be real unfortunate. Like, I'm sure we would lose staff. Maybe they would go elsewhere.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. But then think about that. That's another thing to think about. You're on a team who gets shut down for 30 days because of OSHA. You really think you're going to go to the guy down the street?
Yeah.
Oh, how come you're not with Dr. Smith anymore? Well, we were shut down 30 days because we weren't compliant on OSHA. Really? You know what? It's nice meeting you, but
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah, we don't want you on our team.
Exactly.
Get out of here. Go,
So,
go back over there.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a trickle effect. It's going to affect everybody.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. A lot of food for thought there.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't realize it could be that serious.
It truly can, and that's the problem. Doctors think about that front office, getting that patient in, collecting that money. We're going to grow. We've got to make sure our systems are in place. Where's your systems for the back, right? Where
Yeah.
is if your front is doing good but your back is falling apart, you're really not doing good. It's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the back is equally important, if not more. I mean, they're directly interacting with patients, and they're with the doctor. So I've always felt that dental assistants are undervalued, and
I agree.
I've always felt that way. In our practice, we try to be equal to the dental assistants as we are to the front desk.
Yeah.
And that's
should be.
and that's because a lot of our team is also cross-trained.
Yes.
And so, with the exception of the newer staff, which we will get there, but we feel that if everyone is working as a team, as opposed to individuals, right, then we'll all strive together.
Right. Absolutely. And sometimes I think they feel like, and I've heard it. I mean, 42 years I've been doing this. Dental assistants are a dime a dozen. I can get a monkey to do your job. And we've heard stories.
Well,
like
I've
that.
heard that about my job, just so you know. So I can get a monkey to do
I'm
your
sure,
job.
exactly.
I've heard that too.
Right.
So
Really
but
try it.
yeah,
'Cause that ain't gonna happen.
yeah.
And dental assistants a lot of times do feel undervalued and not appreciated. And so, it's important that everybody on the team gets recognized, because this is a team effort. You know that.
Yeah.
It takes every single one of us to make that wheel go around.
Yep.
And I don't like it when dental assistants tell me, oh, my doctor didn't send me, everybody went to this course, but my doctor didn't send me because I don't need CE. And I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean you don't need CE? And they're like, well, I don't need CE. And I'm like, are you saying you don't need CE credits? Yeah, I don't need CE credits. And I'm like, okay, you might not need CE credits, but you need to be continually educated.
Yeah.
Because I can't even begin to tell you in 42 years how different this profession is. It's crazy. If I told you the way, we didn't used to autoclave anything. I mean, nothing. My boss told me, if you find someone a little shady, you can autoclave it. But honestly, we didn't autoclave anything. If I told you, I can't because it's too long of a story, how I used to take impressions, you would die. You were like, you are lying to me. So this profession has evolved immensely, and you really need to be educated to, keep up with it, especially now with all the technology and all the amazing things we have out now. You've got to keep up on that. So doctors, send your assistants to learn, and assistants learn, take it upon yourself. You are oral healthcare professionals, and so learn. Office managers, make sure your dental assistants are keeping up, make sure they're taking CE, and get them educated, because when that doctor leaves that operatory, they need to have faith in what comes out of that dental assistant's mouth, because I will tell you, 99 times out of 100, when the doctor walks away, the patient looks at the dental assistant and says, what did they mean? Like, when they said that, what did they mean? And you got to be confident in what is coming out of their mouth. Otherwise, you might lose a patient.
Yeah, dental assistant. So I've seen that time and time again.
Yeah.
The patient, as soon as the doctor leaves, patient says, hey, what was he talking about?
Exactly.
Or, they find that connection with the dental assistant.
Yes.
And I guess it's more of like they feel on a level playing field,
And the dental assistant spends more time with the patient than any other team member, hands down.
Yeah.
So the patient really does develop a relationship with the dental assistant that they don't develop that's different from the doctor or the hygienist.
Right.
And so, or the treatment plan coordinator, because they're only with them a few minutes. So really the dental assistant is available to make this huge impact on a patient either way, bad or good.
Yeah.
So, it's important that they're educated so that they understand everything, and they know how to talk to the patient, speak to the patient.
Yeah. I know a few practices where they actually will train the dental assistant to be a treatment coordinator in a way, because for that exact reason, that they spend so much time.
They have a connection already.
And they have the connection. So the patient is already trusting them.
Absolutely.
And say, hey, why not have your dental assistant start up that financial conversation?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I know some practices are doing it. It's been working well from what I understand.
I know. And I know a lot of dental assistants that have moved into that role because they understand the process, right?
Yeah.
So it only makes sense. I mean, it's perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay, so Tia, you shared a little bit of information with us on the calendar.
Yes.
I want you to just kind of show our audience your calendar here.
Here it is. The Karma Compliance Calendar, because we all know what karma is, right? We don't want that. So in it, you will find... I have some front desk duties there, task, and then daily and weekly task of a clinical team, whether that's the dental assistant or the hygienist, and then sprinkled out in the calendar itself on the months is, monthly, quarterly, and annual things that need to be done, OSHA, HIPAA, infection control, and I think the most important one is maintenance, because it's something dental assistants have to do, dental hygienists have to do, but it's a great reminder. So there's something different on every month. It talks about water lines. I'm very big into water line contamination and making sure our water lines are good. But it's chock full of good stuff. And with it comes an infection control, OSHA and infection control checklist, a HIPAA checklist, and a maintenance checklist. So,
Cool. So how do our members get their hands on that?
I don't have the QR code. Here, yeah, I do. The QR code is right there.
Okay.
Right
Is there a website?
there. And it's practiceboosters.com/store. If you want to
cool.
go to it, practiceboosters.com/store. And there's a QR code. And you'll see this little guy in the middle so that you can click on that and purchase a calendar. And we've got great things coming for 2025. So
Cool.
always try and add
Cool.
something new and fresh in there.
Yeah, I love the, you said the water line maintenance.
Yes.
I recall a story. I don't remember what year this was, but when you said that, it immediately kind of struck a chord. And I remember there was a story, and maybe there are others that have happened, but I remember there was a story about this office that had contaminated water lines, and like a bunch of patients contracted some disease. I don't know if it was HIV or it was like hepatitis or something like that.
So what it was probably the Anaheim story.
Okay.
That there were over 200 children that were affected.
That's it.
Yeah, with Legionnaire's disease, or the Legionella bacteria. We call it Legionnaire's disease most commonly. But yeah, I mean, it's a bad thing. And people will tell me there's a waterline treatment, there's a waterline shock, and there's testing your water. And the misconceptions is we don't have to test our water. We have a reverse osmosis system. We use this amazing distilled water that we get in these jugs. So we don't have to do that. That's a myth, because the bacteria lives in the water lines. And so the water you put in is going to be good, but when it travels through the lines and comes out the other end, that's where the bacteria lives, so it comes out contaminated. The other misconception is, we shock our lines. And I'm like, well, how do you do it? Well, they're not really shocking, they're treating. So the CDC says we're going to test our water at the end of the quarter, and we're going to shock the first day of the next quarter or the next day. We're going to treat our lines every day. I have some people that shock more often. I'm a once-a-month shocker myself because I just believe in that. And there are lots of things you can do. You can purge your water lines at the weekend. There's lots of different things that you can do for that. But a lot of, just like all infection control, there's so much misinformation out there. And that's what I love doing, is helping dental offices, dental assistants, office managers, weed out the difference, because I want to educate them so they'll know the truth.
Well, that's why I brought you on.
Thank you.
Yes.
We've been talking about this for how long?
I know, yeah, and I'm finally glad we got to meet here. So, cool. All right, so Tia, how can some of our members reach out to you if they are interested in training services?
Well, I'm in the community, but my email is TIJAEFDA for Expanded Function Dental Assistant @gmail.com. So you can reach out to me there, or private message me on Facebook. I'll be happy to help you.
Cool.
But I do want to warn you, I was just looking at my others folder. You know how when someone messages you on Facebook that's not a friend?
Yeah.
I just went to my others folder and I have 10 messages from the last 2 months that I didn't even know was there, because you don't get notifications for that.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God, now I feel bad. So, TIJAEFDA @gmail.com. Please email me and I'll be happy to get back with you.
Cool. You know what I'll do? Because I tag you in some of those
Yes, you do. Thank you for
those
that.
comments or posts. I'll try to share your email more often. So
I love that.
You know.
Because I can't in the room. It won't let me.
Oh, will it not?
No, it won't let me. Every time I try to respond with my
Okay.
email address, it refuses to let me do it.
Huh. Facebook's a little strange sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll do that for you. That way our members
Can see it.
can
Thank
receive some, services for their practice.
Great.
But Tia, thanks for coming on. Really
Thanks
appreciate
for
you taking
having
time.
me. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. All right, guys, take care and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.